Firefighters across the country are calling for change with a lawsuit filed here in Massachusetts, highlighting the dangers they're exposed to by wearing their fire gear. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on Western Mass News at 6. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Mary Wilson. Western Mass News reporter Paris Dunford joins us live in studio to break it down for us. Paris.
Chris, Mary, I spoke with a Worcester woman who sparked the movement leading to this lawsuit against the National Fire Protection Association, claiming the testing standard they use requires the use of dangerous chemicals in firefighter protective gear. Diane Cotter's husband worked for the Worcester Fire Department for 27 years before retiring after he was diagnosed with cancer in 2014.
Changed everything about our lives.
Since then, she's advocated for her husband and others like him, including her own son, who is also a firefighter, searching for any cancerous risks in their work. She tells Western Mass News her years of research led her to the conclusion that PFAs, also known as forever chemicals, exist in high levels in firefighter protective gear.
It's shameful. It's absolutely shameful that America's bravest have to go to this length to protect themselves.
And now the International Association of Firefighters is showing their support as well. The union that represents thousands of firefighters filed a lawsuit Thursday against the National Fire Protection Association and Norfolk County Superior Court in Dedham, Massachusetts. The lawsuit details that a provision in NFPA 1971 requires certain components of firefighter gear to pass ultraviolet light degradation tests, which requires the gear to be exposed to UV light for 40 hours without degrading. They say the only substance that can pass the test for that long is PFAs. Assistant Chief of Northampton Fire and Rescue Service Andrew Peelis shares his reaction with Western Mass News after reading the lawsuit.
It's alarming. I mean, we try to do everything we can to limit the amount of exposure to carcinogens.
The lawsuit seeks damages and other relief. Peelis says he just hopes this leads to answers.
I would think all firefighters would support it if we found that the PFAS in the gear is going to be causing cancer to our members.
We did reach out to the NFPA, and they responded with a statement that reads, quote, NFPA shares the concern of the entire fire service community around the health and safety of first responders. We have not yet been served with this complaint, so we can't comment on it. And the NFPA also tells us the specific issue of the first responder PPE is before a technical committee through their open standards development process. Reporting live in studio, Paris Dunford for Western Mass News.